Hi, this is Brendan Davis from Bedrock Games and the Bedrock blog, and today I'm going to be reviewing a movie called Bat Without Wings, directed by Yuen, released by Shaw Brothers in 1980. I really like this movie. I saw it the other day, and then I watched it again the next morning. It's a Yuen is kind of famous for having convoluted plots, twists and turns, uh, very beautiful imagery on screen, but he's definitely known for making movies that are sometimes harder to follow, and this is not an exception. I think that it's an unfair criticism though of his films because it's pretty clear to me that he assumes a certain amount of familiarity with some of the source material. And in this case, when I was watching it at first, I thought it was maybe based on a Gulong book just by the characters and the style. And when I looked into it, it looks like it was based on the works of another writer from Taiwan who specialized in horror and supernatural wuxia stories. But I wasn't able to find very good sources, so I don't want to say the person's name just yet. I might do a separate video post or just add comments to the bottom of this below once I hear back from some people that I've asked. I know some folks that can find out for me, but right now it's definitely it seems to be based on a book with the same title, written by someone who might have worked with Gulong on a number of other books, and I hope to have that information. But either way, I think Cho Yuen, he he expects a certain level of familiarity from the audience, and so that's one of the reasons why you know he's able to move around so quickly. And and you can see that because when the characters come on screen and it now their name appears right there, it's to me it just seems like that's the expectation. So I think if you're an American watching one of these, you kind of have to put a little more effort into it. So I always watch them twice, and I recommend that anybody that sees this, they watch it twice. Maybe go online, look up some of the storyline information. But they're not as hard as people say. If you watch it one or two times, you'll usually pick up on the major plot points. The first time through, you might be a little bit confused by things, and but again, I think most of that for me arises when I miss lines of dialogue that go by, and a lot of times the dialogue will move quickly in the subtitles, so that can happen. But the movie itself is a mystery. I don't want to say too much about the plot because again, it's the kind of plot that I could spoil very easily. But the basic premise is there's this really terrible, awful villain named the Bat Without Wings, and he looks a lot like Gene Simmons from Kiss. I posted about it, and that was one of the first comments that I saw, and I've seen people say that elsewhere. So it's definitely something I think you see it and you think that. Whether Choi Yuen was trying to do that or not, I don't know. I think in this case, I could see it being either way because Gene Simmons' appearance in Kiss, his hairstyle is already very much period wuxia looking. So the mask might just be together with the hair might just coincidentally look like Kiss, but he could have been deliberately uh, trying to emulate that look. However, something tells me Choi Yuen probably wasn't the biggest Kiss fan in the world, so I don't know. I'll leave that for more knowledgeable people to discuss. But it is very striking. It does look like a Kiss costume, and I don't know. I kind of like that stuff. Like uh, the Five Venoms is kind of the same in that respect. It's sort of a cross between Kiss and a luchador type costume. So sometimes Wuxia goes out on these limbs and has really elaborate, interesting looking costumes. The Bat Without Wings, the villain looks very striking when he's wearing the mask. He's an awful, terrible person. He's kind of like a bit of a pervert, and he's basically known for kidnapping women, raping and killing them. So he's an awful, awful guy. And it starts out with this big battle of 26 heroes who try to defeat him, and he ends up beating up all of them except for two. And I might pronounce these names incorrectly because in the subtitles one of them was spelled really strangely. But one of the heroes' name is Lang, and the other's hero's name is Jama, I believe. And I really could have that wrong. So they end up defeating him. Everybody thinks the Bat Without Wings is dead. Then 5 years later, the Bat Without Wings makes a reappearance, and Jima goes missing. And so, then we go to this hero named Zhao, played by Derek Yee, and he's hired by the daughter of Jima to find him and kill the Bat Without Wings. There's also a daughter of a security company who goes missing as well, and the hero sort of teams up with her father and her fiance, and they end up on this really exciting investigation where they're going from trapped bamboo forests to fighting over poisoned ponds, and underground caverns filled with treasures and poison smoke. It's a very a very set piece rich film. The mystery is very intriguing, and some of the turns that the plot takes are surprising and fun. The fights are, I would say, more on sort of the fun and swashbuckly side of things. It's I've noticed that Cho Yuen really likes to do this thing where he has the fighters, especially when Derek Yee is involved, where they're sort of spinning at an angle in the air, and almost like a dance. And I think that works. I think that the visuals in this one are great. The opening scene 5 years later, after the Bat Without Wings disappears or is presumed dead, that opening sequence when we see the daughter of the security company chief, that's gorgeous. That really sold me on the film. The main hero, played by Derek Yee, is a sort of, I don't know, he's kind of a typical hero in these films. He's not really, there's nothing terribly exceptional about him, but Derek Yee is a great actor, and I think it works. He's I was Choi Yuen's very good at making Derek Yee look excellent in these films. So I think the costumes and the fight scenes all come together around Derek Yee on this one. Um, so I really liked it. I particularly liked the set pieces. I thought that uh, there's a I don't want to give too much away, but Feng has a really good role in this, and I liked his character a lot. I liked the ending sequence. There's a great battle at the end where there's like three factions fighting, and I always love when there's like a bunch of different factions and people are turning sides and things like that. But the way this fight was done, I just loved the location, the battle. I loved the way that it ended, and and sort of the challenges that were thrown at the hero, during the finale. It's also a good movie because I like films that have a mix of male and female heroes, and this one has a pretty decent mix, and I think that really helps. It's still more skewed towards male, but it's not like a movie that's like just all guys. And I think with the fight choreography, with the character interactions, for me I think it works better when you have a better blend. And again, the set pieces in this are really 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 gorgeous. It's a Choi Yuen is particularly good at that. And if you're a gamer like me, you can just rip these out and put them in a game and run them as dungeons or locations. And what I really like about it is some of the different locations are connected by tunnels and things like that, and you can sort of get a sense of the architecture as the characters move from one point to the other. So I thought all that really worked well. So I have to take my wife to work in a little bit, so I'm going to get going. But again, it's Bat Without Wings. It's not a long movie. It was like an hour and a half, and it was made in 1980, so it definitely has like a later Shaw Brothers feel, with a little bit of a horror and gore element to it. Again, the villain is pretty rapey, so there is that if you're sensitive to that material. But I thought that worked. I thought that they did a good job with all the content, and like I said, the fight choreography, maybe for me it seems like lighter side, more flamboyant fight choreography, but towards the swashbuckle end. I have seen people that weren't big fans of the fight choreography, and this isn't like Deadly Venom's kung fu style fight choreography. This is much more sort of old style wuxia, sword play, that sort of thing. But I thought it looked good, and I thought that they did an interesting job with some of the weapon choices as well. There's a guy that's got this big giant pitchfork at one point. I like that there's all these different factions at work. That's a really big thing in these movies. So I enjoyed this film. Uh, I usually do enjoy the films that I review. When I review movies here, I usually do it because I like the movie. If I watch a movie and I don't like it, I just don't do a review typically. So if you see me doing a review, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be because I like the movie. That one time, if I really, really, really didn't like a film, then I'll do a review on it just because it really bothered me a lot. But I'm not really. If I don't like a movie, I just would rather just forget about it and move on to the next thing. So this is again Choi Yuen, great director. I'm a big fan. I'm probably a little bit biased at this point, so do take that with a grain of salt. But I recommend this one. I got the was it the Eastern Masters version. I wanted to get the region free Celestial Pictures version, but I couldn't because it was like $100. So I ended up getting this one. This one looked fine to me. I can't really vouch for the subtitles though. Sometimes those are different depending on the version you get. They seemed okay. There were a few moments where I was a little bit curious about whether they got something right, but it seemed fine and it matched what I saw online about it. So I think that it's that it's okay there, and the image quality was fine. The not many bonus features on the DVD though. I felt there could have been more of those. Um, and I'm hoping to have some more reviews up in the coming days. I know I've been a little bit behind. The honest reason for that is a friend of mine convinced me to watch Breaking Bad, and I got hooked on it, and that interrupted both my viewing of movies that I might be reviewing, but also it just kind of got me out of my rhythm. And now that that's done, I've seen Breaking Bad. I'm done with it. I will be back to reviewing. Plus, I was releasing Overgate, so. But I think the Breaking Bad thing had a little more to do with the absence. So I look forward to being on here again. I'll probably be reviewing The Assassin with Jimmy Wang Yu. But if I have a couple of things coming in the mail, so if those arrive beforehand, maybe I'll do those first. And again, if people have any recommendations, if you want to see me review something, I will. And in those instances, it could be a positive or negative review. If somebody really wants to see a review, I'll do it, and I'll let folks know what I think. But generally, I just do the movies that I like. So, all right, I will talk to you later.